Hey everyone, it's Rio. It is Tuesday morning, and I just finished grading the work that had been submitted last night for my IT lab. And I had one class yesterday where we talked a little about the issues that people are facing and some of the challenges. And I think there's actually two things going on here. I think one thing is that students this is a new system for them to get used to. So over the last couple of weeks since the beginning of the semester, you've gotten used to Blackboard. You've gotten used to doing a lot of new things. And now here's another new thing for you to get used to. I think that's part of what's happening. And my IT lab is different than probably anything you've used before, unless you've used it before, which most of you have not. So part of this is suggestions I've been trying to make, and I feel like some of you have heard it and some of you are still trying to get it, which is perfectly natural given where we're at in this class. So I had extended the deadline for the first Chapter 1 training and exam, and I've been thinking about how I want to continue from here on out with the extension that I gave and the issues that I'm seeing. So but let me come back to this concept of that I think it's partly new, not partly. Part of the issue is that it's new to everyone. Following the instructions, setting up your browsers for most success is an important thing. And I think there's been some issues, there has been some issues on the technical MyIT Pearson side. And I believe those are starting to get worked out from my conversations with the folks over there. And here's what happens. Because something's new over at the student side, and there's been a few known issues over at the technical side, the students sometimes will just throw up their hands and say it's a technical issue and I can't get through it. And that's not the response you want to have. The response you want to have is, I'm going to figure this out, I'm going to reach out and get support when I need it, and I'm going to follow carefully what the program is asking me to do. Because oftentimes when I see students get hung up in lab, the issues are around them not looking and reading carefully. So, and having said that, it does take longer. My IT lab assignments will take longer than probably anything we have in this class. So you need to give it the time. And I feel like I've given enough time, but I'm going to extend that time. Okay, so here's really what I want you to know coming out of this, is that I'm going to give an additional week for all the IT lab assignments that are assigned in Word. Okay, so what that means is that Word 1, Chapter 1, was due last Thursday. So I'm going to give you until this Thursday to get it done. Word Lab 2 was due last night. So you have until a week from last night, less than a week, to get that done. So just extend everything by 1 week. Now, what this means though, okay, so let's just say what this means. What this means is that you want to get this stuff done now, and here's why. Because the things coming at us in the following week after the MyIT lab assignments are complete are still going to be due. So if you're hesitating or if you're not stepping up and getting the challenges that you have done, then you're going to have some additional challenges the week after, because then you'll have work that has to be done on schedule and work that you're trying to get caught up with. So my suggestion is get work done this week. Okay, so we're just starting out this week. You have Word. The other thing is I just graded, and the online students seem to actually perform better than the face-to-face students. And I think it's part of this that you kind of throw everything out because there's technical issues and you just throw up your hands. So don't do that, okay? Focus and get this stuff done. But now, having said that, not all the online students are, I'd actually say about 65% got it done, but there's obviously a bigger chunk that didn't. So you still can do the work. You just got to do the work, okay? So what I'd like to do now is actually turn to, before I leave too, one additional challenge for students using Macs is that the keyboard mappings are a little different. So as an example, it asks you to hit Control Home or Control that's actually, that scenario occurred as well. Control home and then control for multiple selections. So on this announcement, I will also post a link showing the Mac keyboard mappings so that you can get familiar with those, because I found out based on the survey 15% of you are on Macs. So it's a fairly good number, and we need to make sure we've done that. But having said all this, I need to say again, I am not your primary support. Who is your primary support is MyITLab. So let me actually switch now to my screen so I can show you. Okay, so here is the support site. Okay, and you can see this by going to MyITLab, right, and going through, and you can see the 24/7 Pearson Customer Ed, but you can see this really by following a couple links, okay, through the support site. Let me just show you. So if I go to myitlab.com, I scroll down to support. Under support, I choose Office 2013, and then there's a couple things here I've said before. Set up your computer, make sure you're actually doing this. But there is also contact tech support. Now, what's kind of a bummer is you have to click through several clicks here, and now you arrive at the website. And what you have to do here is, and by the way, here's the other thing, is there's been these messages posted, there's been some intermediate slowness. That has not been on the MyITLab site, as far as I've been told. This is other sites that they're having challenges with, so again, students think it's them. It's the technical, and again, I'm not saying it's not, it's just that sometimes we just say, well, that's the problem. So there's a setup computer here, which is great. The contact us, which is good because it actually gives you a couple ways to contact them, chat or phone call, but you need to do it. And here's my recommendation. If you're not willing to go through and get support for your particular setup, then you need to skip those questions and do the ones that do work for you, okay? Now, one thing I've heard students say, and I want to go back here because I found this today, was, oh, sorry. Let me scroll down. Oh, by the way, you can see here, it supports Windows 7 and 8, Mac, and again, I'll provide that document to you. Now look here. Here is the CPU requirements for MyITLab. It's a Core i3. Now, you may not know what this means, but what this means is you need a relatively fast computer. You need 4 gigs of RAM is actually preferred of bandwidth, and that's how much internet speed you have, of at least 2 megabits, okay, mbits. Screen resolution is obviously important, okay? So these things will affect your speed. So here's what I want you to know. You need to be closing everything else that you have open before doing the MyITLab assignments. Okay, that is preferred. And matter of fact, they talk about, and this is, oh, here it is, the availability, display, security. Here it is. Assignments and office simulations require more processing power and network than a typical website. To avoid slowness, have your browser or having your browser become unresponsive, which I have seen. Here's the suggestions. Close all of the programs to increase the processing power. Stop any unnecessary traffic like downloads or streaming music, or if you're multitasking, stop all that stuff, especially if you have a computer that is not necessarily the fastest or an internet connection that's not necessarily the fastest, okay? All right, so let me come back. So that is the suggestion. So there's a couple things I went over in this video. One is that I'm giving an additional week for all the items that have been scheduled for Word, starting from Word 1, 2, 3, and the practical exam as well, which I haven't talked about yet. So those are all extended 1 week out. The challenge with this is that you will also have, starting next week, the normal items due. So if you're having challenges doing the work, you need to get on technical support, do the suggestions I've talked about today, do this browser tune-up, and that's all the technical stuff, and read carefully, slow down, okay? read carefully, watch the videos so you know exactly how to do it, because I have found for me that I can imagine this is a challenge for you too, but if I take the time, if I watch the video, and I've seen some students take notes, good idea. If you do all those things, your chances of being successful with MyITLab will increase. Okay? So I hope this helps answer any questions that you might have. Again, I know people are contacting me. Remember, I'm kind of your second line of defense. So contact support when you need help. Contact me when you're not getting what you need. And you're welcome to contact me to inform me of the issues that you're having. I just want you to know that part of what you're paying for is support from them. Okay? And I've noticed too, I've suggested this because for some of you experiencing this freezing issue, save along the way, and that should help that issue, I hope. Again, I've asked the folks on the technical side, what happens when it freezes? Sometimes what happens is it submits your work and you have to start over. Now you may think that's a horrible thing and it probably doesn't feel good, but here's what I will tell you. Once you go through it, the second time through it, it's much easier. And here's the other thing is, as soon as you do the training, follow up and do the exam as soon as you can, else you'll forget some of those things. Okay? All right. I hope this helps you out. Have a great Tuesday, and I'll talk to you later.